Good morning, dear students. So in last class we studied about Indian foreign policy. So throughout the world there are more than 200 countries. In that 200 countries, few countries are more powerful and many countries are still not yet developed. Not yet developed means they have many problems within their country. Either it might be unemployment, poverty, discrimination, anything. So here their country faces more problems. So those countries are not yet developed, and very few countries are there which are developed and which are very rich countries, which are very economically stable countries. So here every country should have its own foreign policy. Why? So that it can take help of the other countries. So see, any country cannot live on its own. See, being independent is another and living on its own is another. Being independent means we are not dependent on any other for our either for our administration, for our politics or any other thing. But we depend on other countries for some other needs. It might be for trade or for anything else. So here it is very necessary for each and every country to have its own foreign policy. You studied in last class about this. So today we shall study about the major aims of Indian foreign policy. This is very important for exam for 2 marks. Many times they have asked this question. So see here, India became a republic in 1947. They have given in a book. Actually it is wrong. You have read 26 January, that is 1950. As an independent country, India wants peaceful coexistence with the other countries of the world. The major aims of Indian foreign policy are, so see here, India is a republic country. From when it became republic? From 1950 onwards. So as a republic country, it has its own aims. So here they have mentioned 5 aims, 5 major aims. So first one is national security. Understood? National security, it is very important. Why? You know, India, Britishers, they ruled India. So here see, when we are nationally secured, at that time what happens? No other country rules our country, or it can capture, or it cannot colonize the other country. So first one is national security. Next, second one is enriching the national economy. So we shall do such kinds of works or things by which our economy will be enriched. Economically we will be more developed. That is industrialization, agriculture or anything it might be. Next, third one is spreading the cultural richness of our country in other countries. So here our Indian culture, we shall try to spread our Indian culture in other countries also. Understood? India is a very rich culturally, very rich heritage country. So here we should try to spread this cultural richness of our country in other countries also. Next, fourth one is by increasing the number of friendly countries and check the power of enemy countries. So here we should try to make friendship with most of the countries. Understood? So that whichever countries are our enemies, those countries which are friendly to us, they will help us at the time of any war or anything it might be. First of all, India doesn't want to have war with any other countries. India is a peace-loving country. In case of any enmity or anything it might be, so those countries which are friendly to it, it should help India during enmity or during any war or anything. So here what we should do? We should try to increase more friendly relations with the other countries. Next, fifth one is achieving world peace and coexistence. Understood? World peace means how first World War, second World War took place, and then what happened? Most of the people had died during these wars. Not only people had died, but also economically many countries had faced a lot of problems. So this thing should not happen in future. In India also, many wars took place between Indians and the Britishers. At that time, what happened? Many people died. Economically, they had to face lot of problem and they had to suffer a lot. So this should not happen in future. So India, what it wants? It wants to achieve world peace. Not only India, but many other countries are there who want peace throughout the world. Who want to achieve peace throughout the world and also coexistence. Means they also should live peacefully and allow other countries also should live in peace. Understood? So these are the 5 major aims of our Indian foreign policy. It is important regarding your exams. Next here, the world is cruel. We wanted to hoist the flag of peace everywhere, but we were cheated. Uttered in surprise by then Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru after the invasion of China into India. Here, when the Chinese had entered forcefully in India, at that time what happened? Jawaharlal Nehru had said these words. Next year, in the radio speech of September 7, 1946, Jawaharlal Nehru outlined the foreign policy of India for the first time to the general public. So here, Jawaharlal Nehru in his speech, that is on radio. In radio, whatever the speech was going on, that is on September 7, 1946. For the first time he had said about Indian foreign policy. The speech gave an indication of the foreign relationships India is going to foster with countries like America, Russia and China. You see, India was not yet a developed country at that time. Why? Because the Britishers, they had looted India economically in all the ways. So the wealth whichever was there in India, it was carried out by the Britishers. So India had become very poor country. So it wanted to improve economically, and each and every field it wanted to improve. So here, to outline its foreign policy, Jawaharlal Nehru in his speech he had said about this. Especially he wanted to have good relationship with those countries which were developed at that time. That is in 1946, like America, Russia and China. Jawaharlal Nehru managed the foreign policies of India as an external affairs minister, apart from being the Prime Minister as well. So see here, when we got independence, at the time first Prime Minister of our India was Jawaharlal Nehru. You all know. So he was Prime Minister and also External Affairs Minister, that is Foreign Minister. So as Foreign Minister he had outlined Indian foreign policy. Hence, many a times the foreign policy of India is also called as foreign policy of Nehru. So see, another name for Indian foreign policy is also foreign policy of Nehru. Why? Because for first time he only had started this, or he only had outlined this. Various international and national issues have influenced the foreign policy of India. Issues like national interest, geographical interest, political situation, economic interest, military issues, public opinion, international situation and many other issues have influenced and shaped India's foreign policy. So see, these all issues have been sorted in Indian foreign policy. Either it might be national interest, geographical interest, economic interest, military issues, whatever it might be, these all have been solved in Indian foreign policy or foreign policy of Nehru. One question they have asked many times, what are the factors that influence our foreign policy, or what are the factors influence on India's foreign policy? Many times they have asked this question for 1 mark, 2 marks. So at that time you have to write this answer. That is, issues like national interest, geographical interest, political situation, economic interest, military issues, public opinion, international situation and many other issues have influenced and shaped India's foreign policy. So much you have to write that answer. So see, I think you all are writing in your homework book whatever important points are there. Today whatever I teach you, that all you have to write a lesson lesson heading, and under that sub units you have to write and you have to mention the important points whatever you have studied today. That is on your homework. You have to do it after every class. So see, our next one is basic aspects of India's foreign policy. So what all aspects are there? That is basic aspects in Indian foreign policy. There are 5 aspects. First one is Panchshila principles. Second one is non-alignment movement. Next, third one is anti-imperialism. Fourth is anti-apartheid policy. Fifth one is disarmament. So, second one, non-aligned movement, it has been dropped from your syllabus. Means it is not there for you. So, remaining 4 are there. So, we shall study in that first one, that is Panchshila principle. Though countries have their own social, economic, political and cultural systems, they have always strived to foster healthy relationships with other countries. Based on the similar lines, in 1954, both India and China accepted Panchshila principles to foster their international relationships. So here, within our countries, there are many problems. Either it might be economic problem, cultural problem, political problem, whatever it is. But we don't try to show these problems as an international issues. Everyone knows that India has these all problems and all. Regarding that, what we do? We try to solve these problems within our country only. And what we do? We try to have good relationship with the other countries. So see here, if any guests come to your house, at that time how much poor you might be. Whenever guests come to your house, what you do? You prepare something good and you give them to eat. You don't tell that we don't have to eat, so we will not give you also to eat. We don't say like that. So here what happens? Whatever the issues are there in our country, we try to solve that. On the other hand, what we do? We try to have good relationship with the other countries also. So here in the same way, India and China, both the prime ministers, India's and China's, both prime minister what they wanted to have good relationship with each other, and they had signed this Panchshila principles in 1954. So here, Jawaharlal Nehru was the prime minister of India and Zhou Enlai was the premier of China. The following are the 5 principles called as Panchshila principles. So in 1954, Jawaharlal Nehru and Zhou Enlai, that is, he was also the president of China. These both had signed this Panchshila principles. Panch means 5. It contains 5 principles. So which are they? This question also they have asked many times. See, first one is respecting each other's sovereignty and regional interest. Understood? Whatever your regional interests are there, whatever our regional interests are there, we shall respect it. Next, non-invention of each other. We will not, as China is our neighboring country, we will not enter into your country and you also should not enter into our country. How? Entering means in the way of capturing that area. Next, third one is non-interference in each other's internal issues. So I said you, internal issues, there are many things. Either it might be based on religion, it might be based on gender, unemployment, poverty, literacy, many problems are there. So whatever it is, you should solve by yourself. We should solve by ourselves. If I want, I will ask for the help. Understood? Unnecessarily, you should not interfere into our internal issues. Next, fourth one is mutual cooperation and respect. Understood? Whatever shall happen, we shall be, what we should do? We should have mutually cooperated. Understood? And also we shall have respect regarding each other. Next, peaceful coexistence. We also will live peacefully and allow you also to live peacefully. Because of us, any problems will not happen to you. So these are the 5 Panchshila principles. These are the basic 5 building blocks of Indian foreign policy. Understood? So here, as I said, non-aligned amendment has been dropped. So next one is anti-imperialism. Imperialism means what? Colony. Making any country as its colony. Now how the Britishers had made India as its colony and they had control over administration regarding anything. In India whatever was there, everything was under the Britishers. So here anti-imperialism. So India is against imperialism. Means going and making those countries as their colonies, capturing those countries. India is against it. So here anti-imperialism. The foreign policy of India opposes imperialism. Imperialism is an attempt by a sovereign country to take over another sovereign country with the intention of ruling it for its personal gains. So here, any other sovereign country means any other independent country, we shall go and make it as our colony. India is against this kind of system, that is against imperialism. It was natural for India, which gained its independence from an imperial country, to oppose such moves of other countries. No corner of world shall have imperialism, declared India in the Conference of Asian Countries, that is 1949 and 1955, held in New Delhi and Bandar. So here India had said in the conference, the Asian countries, they had conducted a conference in 1949 and in 1955. In 1949, this conference was conducted in New Delhi and in 1955 it was conducted in Bandar, that is a place in Indonesia. So there they had conducted in that conference, India what it said, it is against imperialism. Why? Because India knows what are the problems faced by an imperialist country. Why? Because India itself was ruled by the Britishers. So it knows its problem. So it opposes imperialism. So much. I will end in this class. In next class we shall study about anti-apartheid policy, disarmament and fill in the blanks and question answers. So much. I think it's enough for today. Thank you, students.